Joyful greetings, brothers and sisters of Our Lady of the Bays Parish. Dear parishioners, we are still celebrating that inner spirit of new life in the resurrection. As we ponder through the season of Eastertide, we're mindful of all of the events, the trials, and the tribulations that are going on around the world at this moment, and also in all of the bottom of our hearts being mindful of all of these calamities that utterly tug our hearts. And so the journey to Emmaus is one where the disciples had to constantly find that inner spirit of wanting to see Christ again, not being able to recognize Christ in the form that they knew. We can only imagine the sadness, the calamity in their hearts as they travelled through the journey going outside of Jerusalem. Travelling to who knows? Travelling with uncertainty. And so ultimately, this is where Jesus reminds us that he's still listening. He's still talking in the bottom of our hearts, calling us. Jesus is calling. And so ultimately, allowing us to be able to experience this Emmaus journey, Jesus offers himself in the breaking of the bread, even at a place whereby we'd feel that Jesus was too distant or too far away to even touch our hearts. And that's also true of all of the villages and the homes that we're currently staying in. As a community, as a body of Christ shared, Jesus is always ready and available to communicate with our hearts in the breaking of the bread and in front of the altar. And so, brothers and sisters, today I'd like to share with you a few of my hymns that represent the spirit of the journey to Emmaus, that sharing of being able to break the bread again with companionship, and that spirit of, even though being so far and distant, Jesus being the ultimate healer and satisfier of our hearts. And so these two hymns are called In the Breaking of the Bread by Bob Hurd, and a really popular praise and worship song called Come to the Altar. And because it's also ANZAC Day, and in the spirit of remembering those who have fallen as a result of calamities, of conflict, and of challenges in our world, let us also remember the ever-abiding presence of Jesus in our lives. Jesus is always going to abide with us. And so feel free to be able to ponder, reflect, listen, and sing, Abide with me today. God bless, brothers and sisters, and thank you for allowing us, the pastoral team, to be able to journey with you in this really spiritual time of Eastertide.
Of the
you hurting and broken within, overwhelmed by the weight of your sin? Jesus is calling. Jesus is calling. Have you come to the end of yourself? Do you thirst for a drink from the well? Jesus is calling. Jesus is calling. Oh, come to the altar. The Father's arms are open wide. Forgiveness was bought with the precious blood of Jesus Christ. Oh, come to the altar. The Father's arms are open wide. Forgiveness was bought with the precious blood of Jesus Christ, of Jesus Christ. Leave behind your regrets and mistakes. Come today, there's no reason to wait. Jesus is calling. Jesus is calling. Bring your sorrows and trade them for joy. From the ashes a new life is born. Jesus is calling. Jesus is calling. Oh, come to the altar. The Father's arms are open wide. Forgiveness was bought with the precious blood of Jesus Christ. Oh, come to the altar. The Father's arms are open wide. Forgiveness was bought with the precious blood of Jesus Christ, of Jesus Christ. Oh, what a Savior! Isn't He wonderful? Sing hallelujah! Christ is risen. Bow down before Him, for He is Lord of all. Sing hallelujah! Christ is risen.